I think the world is cyclical. When you were a common man 2,000 years ago, you were effectively a slave, and life was terrible. And then that was the same all the way up to perhaps the 1930s, 1940s. Being a common man was pretty terrible. And perhaps it was the war and the massive loss of life. Perhaps it was something else, I'm not sure. But I kind of feel like there was a golden period between in the 50s to 60s to 70s to 80s, maybe even the 90s, where being a normal, hardworking man, because life is cyclical, went from being a terrible existence to quite a good existence. In the 60s, you could be a normal man who worked in a factory, an unskilled labor job, and with one wage, you could afford a house, you could afford a car, you could afford to raise a family, your children would not be taught garbage in school, your wife would respect you, you'd have a home-cooked meal.
Times were good.
Times were good. What matters most? Your wife loves you, you're respected as the breadwinner, your kids respect you, they listen to you, your house is clean, your house is safe, your car works, your life is good. And because it's cyclical, those good times are over and we're going back to where it was before. The inflation is going to absolutely decimate your spending power. Now, inflation doesn't damage me. Inflation doesn't damage me because I own all the assets. Inflation just means houses get worth more money. Inflation just means Bitcoin and stock and land and houses all go up. Inflation means my car collection is no longer worth 110 million. It's now worth 300 million. Whatever.
Inflation,
I own everything.
Inflation is amazing for the rich man.
100%. I love it.
But for the broke man,
you're done.
You're fit.
You're done.
You're finished.
Because inflation is meaning your money is worth less. And it's going to take more of your money to buy a house. And your wage is not going to increase at the rate of inflation. It's becoming more and more impossible for you to own assets. For us asset owners, inflation's fantastic. So the common man is about to get wrecked. I think inflation is going to make it exceptionally difficult. I think AI is going to make most jobs worth less than they already currently are. If you're a newspaper writer or whatever,
AI is taking that.
AI is going to take that in the next 10 years. And you're going to, if you still have a job, it's going to be only managing the AI, which means you're going to be paid even less than you're currently paid. Because without the chaos, it's kind of like a prison break. When all the rules are being adhered to and the prison is operating as it should, you're stuck in your cell. But if there's a prison riot, you have a chance to escape, which means uncertainty and chaos are required for the difference in social mobility. And that's always been the case. But now I feel like with AI and certain other things, although there's going to be instability in the world, although they're going to continue to lie to us, I feel like the Matrix is going to gain enough control to keep us all in our pods or in our 15-minute cities, or our electric cars will be turned off, or we need to get our bug rations for the week so that there can't ever be enough true chaos for you to escape. The people who are rich now, their bloodlines will be rich for a very long time. And the people who are poor now, if they don't get rich soon, in the next 10 years or so, they're never going to get rich. Why are you not panicking? The Titanic just hit the iceberg. You may not be in the water yet, but it's a certainty. There's nowhere else to go. It's going to sink.
It's going to happen.
Panic now. Don't panic at the end with everyone else as they go into the icy depths. No, I would argue if I was on the Titanic and it got struck by the iceberg, I could have got a lifeboat nice and early. Now, I wouldn't have women and children first. I'm just using this as an example. Analogy.
I know where you're going with it.
I could have gone to the top deck when no one else was panicking and said, you know what, I want this. I want to go on a lifeboat. No, I don't feel comfortable on a lifeboat. And the guard probably would have said to me, you don't need to go on a lifeboat. It's no big deal. I said, yeah, but please, just give me the lifeboat, or here's some money or whatever. I want this one. Give me this one. Everyone started panicking at the end, and there was no lifeboats left. And people are sitting here now going, oh yeah, the economy's bad, but maybe if we vote for this person, don't want to swear. You've come from the absolute bottom to the absolute top, and you've done it all off of your own back and hard work and dedication and never missing a day. The only shortcut to life is to never miss a day. One, because of compounding interest, and two, because sometimes you get lucky. And you'll never miss a lucky day if you try every day. And that's what people don't understand. If you never miss a day and you never don't try and you're always on time, was I late today? No, on time, and you try and improve every aspect of your life, and you're a professional, and you try and make sure that you analyze your decisions, you give yourself feedback, you don't make mistakes, you're not lazy. If you try and you make it to the top, you end up elitist because you look at the people down below and you're like, well, why didn't you try? I did. But if I meet somebody who's truly broke, I'm not talking about you not have hundreds of millions, but if I meet somebody who's broke, I think they're an idiot. And I catch myself going, Is that bad? Am I elitist? Or do I sit down now and I just say, no, I started lower than you and beat you. How are you poor? There's only 3 reasons you can't get rich in the world today, which is either you're stupid, you're lazy, or you're arrogant. And I find the most common one is lazy and arrogant. It's not stupid. There's nobody at home who is too stupid to become rich. I'm sure anyone watching this podcast right now, if you were to sit down next to me and I were to say, do this, do this, do this, do this, do this, you could do it. It's not about being stupid. You're lazy or arrogant. It's one of the two. Those are the 2 most common factors of people. So when I meet people who have truly failed and they pretend to me that they didn't want to fail, I know they're one of the 3. And it's usually arrogant. Because when I sit and say to them, you could have got out, they don't say, you're right, I could have got out, I didn't try. That shows humility. They don't do that. They say, no, because it's excuse, someone else's fault, the Matrix's fault, no self-accountability. Oh, well, you don't know what you're talking about anyway. Arrogance.
Sounds like feminine mindset to me.
Well, yeah, exactly. And then they're going to lose.
Yeah.
So I catch myself being elitist, and I try very hard not to be because I don't consider myself a rich man. I'm a poor man with lots of money. And what's scary about being elitist is if I'm from a Luton Council estate and I have a bunch of money now and I see the common man as a lazy idiot, imagine how the elites see us. And then you start to really go down the rabbit hole when you understand these people who've been in charge of the world for a very long time, who own the banks, who believe they're genetically superior to us because why not? Their families always owned the bank. They can be a fat loser, but they just believe they're something because why not? They have a big boat, so that's just what they're going to believe, isn't it? Imagine how they view the common man. You think they give a shit about you or your family or your income or your wages? You think they care about you? You think they're going to make life easier for the common man in the next 10 years as you've just asked? Or are they going to continue to decimate your lifestyle for their own forever profit? There's no light without dark, which is a basic fundamental law of the universe which can't be broken. And especially as these large companies want forever profits, which they do, and they own everything. Like, I don't think many people understand. If you go into Sainsbury's and you look around at the brands, you will struggle to find 10 brands that aren't owned by the same company. Yeah. You have to take that money from somewhere. If they can make you poor so they can get richer, they will. If they own all the assets, they want inflation. They want inflation. They don't care. They don't care about you. They don't care you can't feed your family. Why would they? If I was an average person, I'd be genuinely afraid. I mean, it's easy for me because I have so much money. Okay, I'm currently restricted in Romania and I'm under a matrix attack and they'll put me in jail, blah, blah, blah. One day I'll get out and one day it will be over and I'll still be a millionaire and I can look at the map and go, where is safe? Tokyo, cool. Done. Most people can't do that.
Yeah.
They can't do that. They're stuck. And the fact that that doesn't bother them or they don't panic, I find flabbergasting. I mean, the iceberg has struck the Titanic. How long can you have a border where people can arrive by dinghy and throw acid in people's face until your nation has fallen?
I think the biggest struggle that men have in the Western world today is finding a woman who they believe is worth being monogamous to. I don't think men have a problem with monogamy as much as men have a problem finding a woman who they truly believe they should be monogamous to. Also, that's something that's interesting about monogamy because we can talk about this and it can be a very interesting conversation. In days of old, high-value men, important men, kings, warriors, whatever, had multiple wives. And they had to look after the multiple wives, or they had mistresses, and they had children with them all, and they had to look after them all. In certain cultures today, that is still the case. In certain religions today, that is still the case. In the Christian world, in the Western world, we have said that's unacceptable. We should be monogamous.
Yeah.
But then you have the majority of men who are monogamous are cheating. The ones who are not cheating are using prostitutes sometimes, or going to strip clubs sometimes, or consuming pornography. So they're not truly, actually loyal. So you've moved the idea of a man having 3 or 4 women he loves and taking care of to a man having 1 woman he's supposed to love and doing a whole bunch of things in secret. You've just subsidized monogamy and you've removed it all towards pornography and degeneracy. So then you have to sit and argue, well, why does so much degeneracy happen in the West? Is it because we are not allowing men to be more true to their instincts? This is all brand new thoughts for me, and I'm just speaking as I think. If you look at Russia, right? Russia is a Christian nation. There's a lot of Muslims as well, but it's traditionally a Christian nation. But if you're a very rich, powerful Russian man, and I've been to Moscow, I can assure you, you have maybe 4 or 5 wives. Or not wives, 4 or 5 girls.
Yeah.
And your wife understands about who the other girls are, and she doesn't really care. Don't look, don't care, don't ask. I have a Bentley, I have a big house, I have the children. He plays around with these other girls sometimes. I don't care, I'm his wife, and that's just how things are set up. That particular man who's very, very rich, he's not interested in pornography. He's not interested in prostitutes. He's satisfied. He has enough for whatever his ego desires or his heart desires. Then you look at the West and you look at the most degenerate things which can possibly happen, which are actually levels above prostitution and pornography. If you look at Epstein's Island, for example, when you have very rich, powerful men and they're told by the public sphere, you're not allowed to have more than one woman, but they don't have God to control them. They're godless. Then they say, okay, well, how can I satisfy myself if God's not restricting me? The society's saying I can only have one woman. I'm not allowed to have 4 or 5, which would satisfy me in some regard for my ego or unhealthy reason or whatever my reason is. So I'm going to end up doing things in private. I'm going to end up doing things in secret.
Look at a man who's watching pornography. I fall off the wagon every once in a while. I'm not sitting here saying that I'm perfect. About a year, maybe 2 years ago, I was watching porn, and there was, back in the day when I was growing up, was like your stepmom.
Yeah.
And to me, that was always weird because I'm like, dude, that's your, like, still, it's your mom.
Yeah, yeah.
Now it's your mom. And then when I, like,
Wow.
like last year when I tried, I did a KSI and Sidemen thing where it was Impulsive and Sidemen. We did this collab, and there was a girl who does porn there, and I made a joke, and I go, look, I'm stuck. And it went viral, and I realized, I'm like, everybody laughed at this joke because they know what I'm saying. And it's this porn style thing where if women are stuck, then men would come and have sex with them.
Yeah.
And these men are enjoying this.
Yep.
So what is this teaching them? That you could take what doesn't belong to you. And I think a lot of the things that they're programming these kids to do actually comes first through pornography because you watch it in secret and you're not really dabbling with your men what you're watching. It's kind of like a mustard seed that grows.
Yep. But then the question is, are they doing it on purpose? Pornography is bad for society. Okay, why are they trying to destroy the society? Who are these people? What is their end goal? Is their end goal the sexualization of children? Is their end goal 12-year-olds to sit there and watch pornography and want to have sex? Is their end goal to confuse 12-year-olds to want them to try and change genders? Is that their end goal? I don't know. Is that why they take down the country's flag and put up another flag? I'm just trying to analyze the world and how it actually functions and how do you fix these things? I think I had the best possible upbringing a person can have, which is good parents and no money. I didn't get famous or rich young, which I also thank the Lord for. I think a lot of these people who get famous online quite early, I think they miss out a lot of life.
It's not real life.
It's not real life.
It's not real life.
No, I had real jobs and I did real things and I was really broke and I was really on the bus and really trying to pay rent and doing real stuff for a long time. Because if you're born with everything, if you're born with all this money, that you have no aspiration, nothing to actually grasp onto and trying to achieve, then money doesn't make you happy. But then you can analyze this from another angle, right? We were just talking earlier, we can always pivot back to who the matrix are, who's in charge. So let me ask you.
Do you have somebody that
Well, let me ask you a question.
Okay, go ahead.
If you're born into a dynasty, let's say a banking dynasty, and you're born a billionaire, and you have everything you've ever wanted ever, and money has absolutely no value at all, and a brand new Ferrari doesn't mean a thing. You could buy one every 10 minutes for the rest of your life. And money doesn't make you happy. What's the one thing that's going to make you happy?
Controlling others.
Controlling others. Power.
Yeah.
Ego. You're like, okay, well, money doesn't satisfy me. What makes me feel important? Especially if you're going to add in. Let's add in another angle to it. Let's imagine you falsely believe, because it is falsely, that you're somehow genetically better than others. You're from this lineage. You're better than the other people. And the other people, the serfs and peasants, are struggling for money, and you have unlimited money because you're so smart, and your family's always been so smart. But I come from the absolute bottom, and now I'm up at a position where I have a very large empire. A lot of it is shadow. Most people don't know what it is, but even our overt things, even our university and things that are online are turning over $15, $20 million a week. So we're doing crazy sums of money. So I've been from the absolute bottom to the absolute top. I've seen it all. And once you get past a certain level of wealth, once you get past a certain level of money, yeah, but then you understand what money is, right? So we say about money not being real. Money is not real from a governmental perspective because they just print it. It's nothing. But money is truthfully the stored time and energy of other people. If you have money, you have stored time and energy of other humans.
Because people are hourly rates.
That's right. Because I can take that money and make someone else use their time and energy for X thing. Look at even American slavery, the slavery that most Americans understand. You're going to work for me, I'm going to give you a house, and I'm going to give you food, and you're going to stay here and you're going to work. Slavery is abolished. So now what do? You're going to work for me, I'm going to give you that, I'm going to give you some money, and that money is enough to only buy you a house and some food. We've just put money in the middle. Now, if I can make you do whatever I want for money, and I can print as much money as I want, you're my slave. Because I can print it from the sky, and you need it to live. So you are my slave. Money's not real. So I have all of this money. I have the stored time and energy of other humans. And once you get past a certain level of wealth, you understand, which ties back to COVID, that you're not interested in money. What you're interested in is people. It's always been about having good people around you. You want a beautiful, doting, loving woman who's obsessed with you. You want good brothers who will stand by you and make you motivated. You want bodyguards who are going to protect you. You want people. And then you want to look at it further down the rabbit hole. You want to get more sinister. If you've been born into a lineage or a dynasty or the people who control the world, you want robot people. You don't want to be spoken to disrespectfully. Or let's imagine you ran the world. And then let's imagine there's this guy called Top G who sits down there and becomes the most Googled man in the world for telling the world that COVID's a lie. And you're making everybody run around and do everything you say. You're going to allow that person to get away with it? And now you start to understand, that's how the Matrix operates. So the people who are broken, raised on money, are so obsessed with power and control, which explains a lot of the society we're in, because they don't look up to God. These people think they are God. So
that's the biggest fall.
And they're trying to make robots of us all. They're trying to enslave us.
It bothers me more than anything is when I walk into an establishment and the person who's working is like, go to there, and they point at a machine. What breaks my heart is that machine is going to replace you.
Yep.
And you have no idea.
Yep.
So you've gotten in a place where the person above you is encouraging you to be replaced. That's like, hey, see yourself out, legitimately.
Yep.
See yourself out.
But people don't think. They don't, and they absolutely lack perspicacity. And then you go further down the rabbit hole, because like I said, there's layers to the rabbit hole. I don't know how Alex Jones you want me to go, but he's right about a lot.
All the way.
He's right about a lot of things.
So you're an Alex Jones fan.
I like a lot of the things he says. And I'm not saying I agree with everything he says, but a lot of the things he says have been proven to be absolutely true. You say conspiracy theorist. Nowadays, that just means you're ahead of the curve, unfortunately. And Alex was talking about, and a lot of other people talking about, and there's a lot of text which talks about the fact that the people who are in charge of the world, they believe that as AI improves, a huge percentage of the planet are going to become useless eaters. They don't need you anymore.
That actually scares me. The guy who created it even is scared of it.
Well, that's the thing. So let's give a thought experiment. As it stands right now, most people are so uninteresting and so unremarkable that you could replace them online with a chat GPT bot and you wouldn't really notice. Genuinely, that's how boring most humans are. If you're special and remarkable and unique and you're famous or you do whatever, that's different. But most people you could replace with ChatGPT by text, you wouldn't even notice. And that is a free application which is brand new. Imagine we're going to be in 20 years from now. So we start talking about useless eaters. This has been discussed by very important, very powerful people at length. The same people who are trying to give you the vaccine are talking about the fact that the population of the earth needs to decline. Why do we need, they say it, Bill Gates says it. Why do we need to get rid of people? Well, machines will do it. So why do we need people sitting around who have hopes, dreams, aspirations? They want health care, they want safety, security, children, all of this garbage. We just need somebody to do X job, and a machine can do X job. So what do we need these people for? If you're the kind of person who searches for happiness, whether male or female, in my experience, people who search for happiness end up doing hedonistic, temporary, stupid things. When I find men who search to feel proud of themselves, I want people to be proud of me, and I want to be proud of myself, and I want to be respected. They often delay happiness. They often go through very difficult things and build things which are beautiful or build things which are difficult to do. They often go to the other side of fear to feel that pride. I did it. I faced my fear. I did it.
Yeah.
So I think as a man, searching for pride or searching to feel proud is a pretty positive mindset for masculine achievement. I understand what you're saying from the biblical sense. I actually understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
But I just say if you were to take a man and say, how would you make your parents, your girlfriend, and yourself proud of you? I said this even to a girl I was dating. I said, you're happy all the time. And I love that. Because I'm stressed. And I'm not complaining about being stressed. I think the masculine role is to wake up stressed. I wake up stressed. I wake up and I've got a bunch to do, a bunch of people to talk to, a bunch of money to make, etc. I'm stressed. I'm not miserable, but I'm certainly concerned all of the time. I'm focused all of the time. I'm always busy. I have a lot going on. I'm never relaxed. I'm never at peace. That's not. Money is a very simple way to measure success because it's numbers. Numbers are easy.
Yeah.
This number, that number. It's easy. What does a company do when it wants to measure the success of a company? It looks at the numbers. What does a YouTube channel do? It looks at the numbers. Numbers are easy. So if you're going to say, how do I be successful in life? Money is not everything, but it's a nice, easy way to measure because it's numbers. And then when you understand it's the time and energy of other people, you sit and go, okay, well, I have this large empire now, and I have all these people who work for me, and all these people I love, and all these people I care about, and all these children, and all this going on, and the world is getting more and more messed up, and everything's on a decline and everything's being destroyed and a certain number of people are going to become useless eaters are going to be eradicated and they're going to try and lock us all in our 15-minute cities for the climate or some garbage that's coming in no time. How do I combat and fight all of this and protect all the people I care about? Well, I need the time and energy of others. I need an army, so I need money.
And you have to understand that you live under a system in which the government will pretend they protect you, but truthfully, the government is out for itself, and the government is aiming to get forever and endless control of your life. Every single government's objective is some form of communism where they control everything. They don't care about the prosperity. They don't care about making money. These things are kind of a illusion. Many people say, oh yeah, but the government wouldn't do that because they need people to have businesses. They need people to make money. They print the money. They make up the money. And they don't care if you starve because they'll always eat. If they cared about money, why was everyone locked in their house? Why did everyone's business get closed during COVID if they cared about money? No, they never cared about money. They don't care. What they care about is control. And not enough people go to sleep at night realizing that every day you wake up, the government makes new laws. Has the government ever taken a law away? When's the last time the government said, we have too many laws, give me the book, let's throw some of this trash away? No, every day there's new ones. And if you make new laws every single day, you're eventually heading towards slavery. That's the end goal of it, is slavery.
Yep.
And we're not far off slavery now. I think a lot of people don't realize that the idea of slavery is we're going to get somebody, force them to work, leave them in a house that we've given them and give them some food, and we're going to force them to work. But doing that is extremely difficult. It's actually not efficient because you have to force someone to do a job they don't want to do, which is very hard to do.
Yep.
You have to stop them running away. You need an army. You need a fence. It's very difficult. It's actually much easier to pay them a little bit of money, and they spend all that money on their house and their food, and they believe they have free will. And now they don't realize they're a slave anymore. Because if you're a slave, you get kidnapped, and you get told to work, and you get a house and food. If I say, oh, I don't have to kidnap you. Oh, here's a nice opportunity for you. Come do this job. It's an opportunity. And then you work and you spend all your money on a house and food. Now you think you're free and you're actually a slave.
You're still in it.
Of course. And the best prison on earth is going to be the one you don't realize you're in. That's the goal, is to keep the wool over everyone's eyes. Most people don't realize they're in a jail. They wake up at 7 a.m. and they go to a job and they work hard all day and they come home and they have no time for their family and they barely pay their bills and they barely afford to eat and they have no money left at the end of the month and they somehow think they're free. And they sit there and they watch the news and the news lies to them and they got vaccine in their arm and they can't fly anywhere because they can't afford it or if their boss will give them leave.
Yep.
And they somehow believe they're free. You're a slave. If you make a bunch of money, you're going to catch a case. If you're at home right now and you're thinking, I want to become a millionaire, that's fine. But if you want to make 20, 30, 40 million dollars and you're from nothing, you're from a council estate like me, and you want to end up with, well, I have hundreds of millions of dollars, but let's say you want to make 30 mil. There is no way you're getting there without catching a case. The feds are going to jump on you. You're going to get tax evasion, money laundering. Some girl's going to want some money. You're going to end up in a jail cell. I guarantee it. All the men I know just want to work. If you ask me what I want to do when I wake up, work. What am I doing on Sunday? Work. All I do is work. All the women I know just want to have fun. And fun is where the problems come. All the fun is the sin and the haramities and the garbage. Fun is danger, right? So it's the same. You have a nice Ferrari, you have a Bugatti, you want to drive it really fast, you're well known in your city, that's problems. You want to go out to the club and hang around with a bunch of girls, that's problems. Anything you do once you get rich, they're going to use against you. So you're saying, how do you get rich without ending up in trouble? Well, then what's the point in being rich if you're just going to sit in your house and behave? Like, what's the point in being rich if you're just going to sit in your house and lock the door and be scared of everything? True. If you're a rich person and you go out and you go to a nightclub or you go to a restaurant or you try and talk to a girl on Instagram, that's enough. That's a case. That's it. It's done.
Yeah.
That's done. You can do it when you're broke. When you're broke, you can go up to a chick and say, hey, you're beautiful. And she'll say, go away. When you're rich and you go up and say, excuse me, you're beautiful, she says, go away. And then she realizes who you were and how rich you were, and she'll change her mind. And she'll message you. And then if you ignore her, she'll say you sexually assaulted her. And now you got a police case. That's the world now. So you can't avoid these things. There's no light without dark. And I also think that it would be cowardice to say, I want to get as rich as possible and I want to make sure nothing bad happens to me. Listen, this is the universal law of how the world has always worked. So most people at home, and the reason I say these things, most people at home don't realize how fragile they are. And you're very fragile if you're broke, but you're also very fragile if you're rich and you're not prepared for the matrix attack, because it's going to come. It's going to come for you.
Yeah.
And if you're not prepared for it, they're going to take everything you own and you're going to be destitute. Like I said, a year and 4 months, I haven't had access officially to $1. How am I supposed to live for a year and 4 months with no money, no food, no gas, no paying for my children, nothing? If you're sleeping at night, you should stop. You should begin to panic because it's about to get very hard for the average person. As the world gets more and more difficult, people are going to shy away from the insanity of entertainment and perma-distraction and start looking for answers and solutions. And that's going to allow people who provide value and value-based content to become even larger than ever before. Yep. When you can't pay the rent, you want to know how to pay the rent. You don't have time to watch stupid streamer garbage. So I'd like to think that's the case. But yeah, Aiden's a really nice guy. But that demographic is lost, bro. The young people are lost. I'm scared for the future of the world. But I know you know what? I'm starting to be a grandpa because the grandpas have always said this. Think about it. Even like 30, 40 years ago, the old people were like, you young people. I'm starting to sound like that now myself. I'm like, you young people, you're all weird. But they are. It's like, I don't know what's going to happen. You're a coward. You will be a bigger coward if you're rich. You'll be more afraid of robbery. You'll be more afraid of people finding out where you live. If you're an idiot, you'll be a bigger idiot if you're rich. You're going to do more stupid things than you would have done if you were poor. If you're a G, you'll be a bigger G if you're rich. So a lot of people don't understand that money doesn't change you. Money accelerates and exasperates and amplifies who you truly are. The problem with a lot of these other streamers, as you just described, is they got rich young and they weren't shit. Enough people look back on what they did and identify where they made a mistake. And some people will do it when they lose. But the true professionals do it when they win. When my dad was playing a chess game, if he won the game, he would still analyze the game and see if he could have lost, where it could have gone wrong, how he could have won faster, what mistakes he did make, what he did well, what he did wrong, win or lose. So many people will sit in a scenario where everything went wrong and go, in fact, correction, not so many people. I would say 75% of people will not ever self-analyze the situation they're in. They'll blame everyone else. If they went to jail like I did, they'd say, they put me in jail because they're liars and the Matrix did it. Fine. True. But when I was in jail, I was like, how did I get here? What did I do? What did I say? Who did I piss off? What institutions want me in jail? What did I do that angered them? Me. I'm taking absolute self-accountability for everything. I'm not blaming anything else because if I blame everything else, I have no control. If I blame myself, then I can influence it. I have control over it. So 75% of people blame other people or they blame other things. I lost my business because of COVID. No, you lost your business because of you. I lost my girl because her friends were hoes. No, you lost your girl because of you. And you lost your car because of you. And it's all your fault because that's the only thing that gives you control and power. The other 10%, we said 75, that's 85. No, it has to be much higher. Let's say the other 20%, which brings up to 95% of the total of the populace, will look at a situation in which they lose and they might self-analyze and they might try and learn from the loss and they'll try and find the feedback involved in the loss to make sure they don't lose again, which is obviously better than not analyzing at all.
At all, yeah.
And the top 5%, the absolute highest echelon, are people who are going to analyze every decision they've ever made, win or lose. I analyze my wins as well.
See where you went right.
See where I went right, see where I went wrong, see where it worked. You need to analyze your whole life. Your life needs to be feedback. You need to sit and it's over 10% into the year now. I wonder if anyone who made a New Year's resolution sits and says, it's over 10% into the year. Am I at 10% of my goal? Because your stupid ass said you were going to be a millionaire when you were drunk on New Year's Eve. Well, you need to have 100 grand saved. Do you have 100,000? Have you even done the feedback on your own goal you made 30 short days ago to realize that you're nowhere near it and you're not going to make it and you're a loser? No. Oh, I got the rest of the year. And then wonder why they fail. You should have a daily target.
And then it's just a full-on cycle for them, yearly.
Of course.
Going to be a millionaire next year. And then
they just lie.
Yeah.
So you need to constantly feedback and analyze your life and take time out of scenarios. I do this all the time. There's been times I've got up out of bed and I've got ready and I've got my keys and I've got my phone and I've stroked my dog and I've had my coffee. I downed it quickly and it was just the right temperature so it wasn't too hot and it wasn't too cold. And I got in my car, which had already been started by my security team, and it was already warm, and I got in and I was out the door. I was like, I'll go out the door in 6 minutes. That's like 2 minutes faster than normal. Yeah, that was good. What did I do good? Well, the coffee. The coffee wasn't too hot, wasn't too cold. Usually it's too hot and I have to wait. Or it's too cold and I want another one. The coffee was just the right temperature. When was it made? And I'll check the message where I sent them to make me a coffee. And it sounds crazy, but I'll analyze how I left the fucking house while I'm driving. I'll be like, that was fast. That was good.
How can we do
well
that again?
done. I want to do that next time. Clown world. We live in a joke. We live in a clown world. I don't think people understand that every single thing that you believe in at home, the medical system, the judicial system, the financial system, the educational system, you name a system, it's a joke. The shit they teach in school's a joke. The money's not real. Law's not real. It's all a big clown show. It's a circus. All of it. And they're the things you rely on. You need these things. You need them to educate your kids. You need the money to be worth something. You need the law to be fair. And it's all a scam. All of it's a scam.
It's like life as we know it is a scam.
It's a scam. Yeah. And then you sit down and go, okay, well, if that's true, what do we have left? What do we do, Andrew? And I go back to my original answer. You need brothers who will die beside you because that's all life's ever been. When things get hard, and when I say hard, I mean really hard, the best thing you're going to have is a brother who will die beside you. Your woman can give you emotional support, but she can't do much else. When things get difficult, women often become a burden. If you're walking down the street and a terrorist attack happens, heaven forbid, you'll wish you weren't with a chick. Because being with a chick now, come on, let's go. And you have to carry her, right? Because they're slow and they're like, oh, my heels, and they're a fucking nightmare. You have to look after them. If you're with your boy, bro, shit, you feel better.
Yeah.
You feel better.
Straight on site.
You're on site, yeah. Men help you. When things get hard, men around you are going to be your number one asset. It's always been that way. When the horde arrived at Vienna, it was brothers with swords who were ready to die by each other that defended the city, and vice versa to attack the city. That's what you're always going to need. Women may be able to say to you, good job, keep going, but they can't do much else. And in the hardest times, you don't have time for motivation. You're motivated by self-instinct. I spend most of my time with my guys. And I love my women with all my heart, but my team comes first because they're the ones who will save me. They're the only ones who can save me if I really need saving.
Push comes to shove.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So brotherhood's the most important thing. And money's another important thing like I talked about. But I don't know. It's how do you in this clown world, how do you survive? Like I said earlier, you need the brotherhood because of the reasons I just gave, and you need to have money to get on the highest socioeconomic ladder, and you need God. And besides those three things, I can't find another answer for it because every time I've ever tried to rely on the education system, the financial system, the judicial system, every time they failed me. TikTok has invented brand new algorithms and built brand new detection software to make sure that nobody can do it again. I was a black swan event, and they said, oh, this person got famous and jumped over all our fences, and now he's telling the truth. So we need taller fences. So now, anytime we decide to ban someone, we can ban their voice, we can ban people talking about them, we can ban a picture of them, we can ban any videos of them, we can ban a cartoon that looks like him, and then we'll ban the account with AI. People spent a year building brand new AI technology because of me. Because of me, to make sure that nobody can do it again. Demons can't do their job in the light, and the light is truth. God is light. God is truth. If you tell the truth, if we have a battlefield, a playing field of truth, they can't do their snakery and their lies. They need deception. They require deception. That's not a man, that's a woman. The sky is green. They need all this garbage so that they can keep you in your slave box. If you knew the truth, bro, if people at home knew how money worked, the banks would be on fire tomorrow. They don't know. And the worst thing is, they don't even want to go and learn. I'm 37, and I would argue that I've lived more life than most 100-year-old men. I've done everything, been everywhere. I've made a mark, made an impact. What's life for? Well, life's to have children and to leave an impact and to teach your children things. Bunch of kids, done my job. So I don't want anyone to think I'm sad about it. It was a decision I made. I feel like as a man, you should always live for something bigger than yourself. I feel like that the true masculine imperative is to find a battle worth fighting for. That's why men have always gone to war, and some men died. That's how it's always been for men. As a man, your life shouldn't be about quantity. It should be about quality. And trying to live as long as possible, but being that porridge goo in the middle is not as important as living a shorter amount of time and getting to be the T-bone steak. So I want people to understand that I believed I was doing the right thing, and I'm not a perfect person, and perhaps I made some mistakes, but I believed I was doing the right thing at the time, and that I don't have any regrets about it, and that I would like people to learn from my example and live true to themselves. And I think that the world can be a beautiful place when you're true to yourself. I really think that a lot of depression and a lot of sadness and a lot of discontentment with consciousness comes from the very simple fact that most men are not true to themselves. And when I say that, I mean, I can say this in a funny way, or I can say this in a serious way. I'm going to choose.
Give us both.
All right, let me choose funny first.
Go on.
You want to fuck a bitch? Fuck a bitch, bro. I love her. I love my girlfriend with all my heart. Yeah, I want to fuck her today. And I fucked her. Boom. I don't love her. I love you. I fucked her. Sorry. Now, I can pretend I'm not supposed to want to do that. I can pretend I don't want to do it. I can listen to my woman tell me that's wrong and then be told I'm immature and all this crap. I want to do what I want to do. If I want to tell a man to go away in a less polite way, I'll do it. If I want to fire a member of staff, I'll fire them on the spot. I don't care. Because I know if I don't do what I want, the resentment inside of me eats away at me. And most men are living lives not doing what they want. Please understand. They don't get to talk to the girls they want to talk to because they're not important enough. They don't get to hang around with the guys as often as they want because they have to work a job they don't like doing. They don't get to tell their woman to be quiet because she'll leave him. He doesn't get to tell his boss to go away because he'll get fired. He just sits in his car, quiet and meek, filled with rage. And the best thing about being rich and important, and I guess the truest way to be happy as a man, is to be true to yourself, which is good and bad. I get to give to charity. I have a charity, tatepledge.com, and I donate millions of dollars a year to charity and feed children. I love my kids. I love my friends. I love the people around me. And if I don't like someone, I tell them to get fucked. And I say it right to their face, in their eye. And if they want to do something about it, it's up to them. And I'm prepared for that too. And I get to live true to my masculine imperatives in all ways. I don't have to sit and be fake or lie or get along with someone.
You keep it real.
I keep it real. And that is why so many men are unhappy today. They don't get to keep it real. Bro, you know what I find truly amazing? There are men out there who are afraid to tell their own woman, leave me alone, I'm busy. Because she'll give him a headache. Don't talk to me that way. And he's like, oh, babe, please let me just work now. No, I'm working. Leave me alone. I love you very much, but I'm working. Leave me alone. There are men who don't even get to be a man in their own house. They don't even get to be a man in their own house. No wonder you're depressed. No wonder you're miserable. I'm talking about being the king of earth. You don't got to be the king of earth. At least be the king of your house. If someone breaks into that house, you have to die to protect that woman. You're paying the bills. And you said, leave me alone for 5 minutes, and she's giving you attitude? Bro, you said don't post our location on Instagram. They want to kill me, and she's worried about her likes. Most people's lives, most dudes' relationships, their lives are so fucked up. They don't even realize. No wonder you're sad. Look in the mirror. Look in your own eyes. I'd be miserable if I was these people. If I have a girlfriend, that's, I guess, it's one of the best things about status. I know this is a bit off topic because you asked me how I want to be remembered, but the answer is I want to live true to my masculine imperatives. But if I have a girlfriend and I get a girlfriend and I like her very much and we're together, and I say, we're together now, you don't need Instagram. You know what she says? Cool. And deletes it. I don't have to force her. I don't have to tell her. I don't have to control her. I just say it. And she's like, yeah, because she respects me and she knows I'm worth more than any Instagram page. If you say to your chick, delete Insta, she's like, well, I want my Insta.
Get rid of her.
Well, I mean, she needs it for some, I don't know. But I'm saying, if you're not even in, most men, I think most men desire respect. I think we all desire respect innately. But if you're not in charge of your house and you're not in charge of your own relationship and you're working for someone else, you're not in charge of your business. And obviously you're not in charge of the government because they're out to wreck you. Like, what are you doing? Of course you're sad. I'd rather be me and get punched in the face by the Matrix and get back up, or get punched in the face and keep smiling. But at least I have some semblance of control of my empire. At least. Most of these men haven't got anything. And that's why they're so sad. And I would hate to be remembered as one of them. But they won't be remembered at all. And that's why when they die, there'll be a number. And there's always going to be numbers and names on this planet. And the names have always had difficult lives. if you look back at any battle in history, they will say 13,000 people died.
And X person.
And one of them was him.
Yeah.
I'm going to be that guy. And avoiding all of the hardship it takes to become that guy is truly insane, because you'll just be one of the 13,000. You'll still die. Like I said earlier about the man who doesn't want to fight thinks the wars go away. No, that's the reason I'm fighting this war against the Matrix, because they're coming for all of us. If any man is watching this, I may be charging at the gunfire first. I may be leading the charge and I may be getting hurt. You're somewhere at the back and you feel safe. They're coming for all of us. So at least I get to go down as a name as opposed to dying as a number. So don't worry about me dying a little bit early. Worry about yourself dying and not being remembered at all.
Andrew Tate, I want to thank you very much for coming on the podcast.
Thank you, sir.
And guys, I know I've probably been quiet this episode, but when you have someone like yourself on Tate, God gave us one mouth and two ears for a reason, so all we got to do is listen.
Thank you, sir.
So now I'm excited to have Tristan on and listen to see what he says as well.
Thank you, bro.
Have you got any questions that you'd like me to ask Tristan?
Ask him who's better at Uno. That's important. Let's see if I want to see if he tells you the truth. Let me tell you all guys something at home. I have never lost a game of Uno. I am undefeated, world champion, centennial, 3-time world champion. I was in jail, 3 life sentences, just me by myself, 1,000 people against me in the biggest Uno game ever played in history. I beat 1,000 people with no cards. I beat them. They let me out of my 3 life sentences. All of them had to get the bus to Jupiter because they were stupider than me. And I stayed here on Earth as the champ. You can't play greens against me. If you play greens at any point, I'm guaranteed to beat you. Blues and reds don't work. Uno, world champ. Repeat all of that to Tristan so he knows. Tell him he's been to Jupiter. He's stupider. I've been to jail, 3 life sentences. I got out because of my Uno prowess. I have never lost a game. I have endless sources of power. I can sit here right now and recall events that will prevent me from sleeping for 2 to 3 days. That gives me a superpower that other men do not have. They want to go to sleep. They're tired. I can stop being tired for days at a time. I can just have a thought. I can remember. I can sit, close my eyes, and use the power of my brain to vividly remember events, and I will not sleep for days. And when people come to me and say, oh, this happened, I'm really sad, or my heart broke, or this bad thing happened to me, I say, good. Thank the Lord that he's given you this endless source of motivation. You're wasting it. Yeah. That's your problem. But it's been given to you. Nitrous oxide has been given to you. You just have to use it in the correct way. So I'm the luckiest man in the world because all the bad things that happened to me have given me all the building blocks to become the most fantastic man on the face of the planet. I don't ever sit and concern myself with, am I spending too much? If I thought I was spending too much, I would simply find a way to make more money. And a lot of people talk about efficiency as well. I've had people talk about working smart, not hard. That is true. But I believe that you need to fill your day with all of the hard work first. I think that working smart is a matter of being more efficient with all the time you should spend working. If you sit there and go, I want to work smart, not hard, so I work an hour a day, well, then you're still lazy. You should work smart and hard and do 15 smart hours a day. That's how you win. If you're in a gas station and it's 3 a.m. and a Lambo pulls up and a guy gets out of it, you're thinking criminal, drug dealer, gangster. Yeah. You're not thinking, he has a uni degree. Because you're not going to think that. So when you see money, people don't even associate the money they see with university. But then they go, I want to make money, so I go to university. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense at all. So I think everybody knows that the system and the path they lay out for you is not a path that's going to lead to where you want to be. And I didn't know what the other path was, but that intrinsic distrust for the system and that distrust for the things they wanted me to do made me search for other avenues. And then I found them, right? And if you speak to the people who are richest, if you speak to the people you know, this is for everyone at home as well, if you speak to the people you know who have the most money and go up to them and say, hey, what made you rich? None of them say school. Do any of them say school made me rich? I got an A in GCSE. Like, who gives a shit? It's bullshit, right? So it's all indoctrination. So I knew it was indoctrination, and for that reason, I was broke. I thought everyone was broke.
You do.
Because I was broke.
100%.
And then you get rich and you start thinking, shit, everyone has money. Every supercar I want is sold out. Every diamond watch I want is sold out. The private jet charters are full. The yachts are full. Like, as soon as you get rich, you start
Who are all these people that got money? Who are they?
I was just in Dubai and my houses are being built. They're going to be completed this year. I bought a bunch of them off plan. So I decided to rent. And I rented a house on the Palm, and it was $25,000 a day, dollars. And I rented it. And I'm sitting there, and the landlord comes and goes, I just got an offer for $35,000 a day. You need to leave. And I go, okay, well, I'll pay $40,000 a day. And then he came back and goes, the guy's offered $50,000 a day for a year. And I'm like, who am I even in a bidding war with? And I just left. I was like, you know what? Take it. I'll get another one. But like, there's people out there with money like you couldn't fucking fathom. There is so much money in the world. So you do get to a level of wealth. Another time it hit me, I was at Monaco. I was sitting around dinner in Monaco after, it was on a car rally, funnily enough. And there's like 10 of us. And I just looked around the table by coincidence and I saw everyone's wearing a nice watch. And I thought, when I was broke, the idea, if someone told me they had 30 or 40 grand in the bank, I thought they were doing good. Now I'm sitting at a table, everyone's wearing a $100,000 watch. Nobody gives a fuck. It's just like, there's levels to the game. And when you get up to the top, you realize there's money everywhere. The abundance mindset, there are so many rich people. So if you're not where you want to be financially, I hope this pisses you off, because I'm telling you to annoy you, that you're sitting there struggling to pay your bills. There are people out there making so much money you couldn't possibly fathom, who have anything they want all of the time. And you may sit there and go, oh, but they're miserable. A lot of them aren't. Trust me, they're having a great time. So you need to make a bunch more money, because there's money everywhere. People will shield laziness with anything. No one wants to admit they're lazy. So they'll shield it with disbelief. Ah, that's a scam. Or, I don't work hard, I work smart. Bollocks, more cover. For just anything it takes to say, I don't want to work.
Do you believe in that? Work smarter, not harder?
I believe in both.
Yeah.
But there's a time when it comes to work smart. And most people are trying to do the smart work before they do the hard work. It's kind of like talent, right? You don't notice if you're talented at something until all the hard work's done.
Yep.
I could be the most talented tennis player in the world, but I don't play tennis. So if I go down the tennis court, Joe Schmo is going to smoke me. I don't get to see my talent until I've worked so hard that I'm in the top 1%, and now I'm beating them because I have some God-given gift.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
You have to do the hard work first. If there's no hard work, there's no smart work. So someone's going to sit there and go, I work smart, I don't work hard, so I only have to work an hour a day. If working smart gets you a lot done in an hour a day, then you should work smart for 12 hours a day and get 12 times the work done. I am absolutely and utterly a believer in hard work. I'm a proponent of hard work. I have all this money and all I do is work. My entire life is work. This podcast is work. I'm getting in the car, I'm going to another meeting, work. I'm going to fuck a bitch. That's work. She's going to be on my arm at the fucking Cannes on the film festival. That's more credibility. I consider it work to fuck her. That's work. I want to go to the gym so I'm in good shape. Work. It's all work. My entire life is work. And people don't want to look at life that way. They want to talk about work-life balance and being lazy and all this crap. I don't believe in any of that. I believe in, if you want to win, you have to outcompete the man who's prepared to do nothing but work. It's player versus player. If you're going to sit there and go, I don't want to work more than an hour a day, well, the guy who does want to work more than an hour a day is going to beat you. And no matter how smart you are, there's always a smart dude who's doing the same smart work you are for more hours than you're doing it. That's just the nature of the game. People are not rich. One of three reasons. They're either stupid, arrogant, or lazy. Stupid is actually the smallest category. People think, oh, you know, there's a lot of stupid people. There are, but I know a lot of stupid people with a lot of money, right? There's so much money in the world. To be too stupid to generate money, I think is less than 5% of the population who are genuinely too dumb to ever make a good wage. Then you have arrogant and lazy, and these are the two most common. Lazy because people just, oh, you know, but I need time to myself. Oh, you know, but it's the evening. Or, you know, it's hyper competitive. There are people who do not need times to themselves. There are people, there's an Indian in Islam, or there's a guy in Islamabad who'll do your job online for $3 an hour and he doesn't sleep. You're going to lose, right? So if you're going to be lazy in any regard, you have to understand there are people like me who are billionaires who work 18 hours a day. When I finish this, I get into my car and I open my laptop and I work on my way to my next appointment. And then I'm going to work all night until the day I go. When I go to sleep, I close my laptop and I'm asleep a minute later. I work. That's all I do. So lazy is a big problem because people go, oh, but I just want to relax. If you just want to relax, that's fine. But you're competing against people who just don't want to relax and you're going to lose. And the last, and I'd say that's around, a lot of people have that element to them. A lot of people are lazy. That's about 50% of people. But the main reason people are not rich is because they are arrogant. 50% of people are brutally arrogant. And I'll give you an example. I have a school where I teach people how to make money online. It's called The Real World. It was called Hustlers University. It's now called The Real World. TheRealWorld.ai. You can see it at CobraTake.com. I sit here as a billionaire and I sit and say, I will teach you how to make money online. Anybody, 18 modern wealth creation methods. It's $49 a month and I will teach you. And people will sit there in their brutal arrogance and as a brokey with no money and go, yeah, but can he really teach me? I have everything you've ever fucking dreamed of. And I have all the money. You have nothing. And you're so arrogant that you believe you know more than me or that you can do it without me or that I don't know how to teach you. The arrogance of people is truly mind-bending. If you know so much, why are you broke? You obviously don't know. If I want to learn how to box, I wouldn't walk into a boxing gym, find a guy who can box and go, yeah, you know, not bad, but can he really punch? Like, this is how people think when it comes to money. You guys are all successful enough. You can sit there and say, look, I do X, Y, Z. I have X, Y, Z. You don't have it. So do you want to learn how to play piano from the piano teacher, or do you want to sit there as an arrogant brokey? Most people are brutally arrogant. And you can sit there and you can try and help them, and they're just so arrogant. They think, oh, I can do it myself, or I'll work it out myself. I don't need help. And it's arrogance, and it keeps them at the bottom. Everything great that's happened to me in my life, someone taught me. I had a kickboxing coach. My dad was my chess coach. You get taught things. To sit there and think you're too good to learn, well, this is the problem. Most people are broke. Most people are broke because they're arrogant, bro. It's the truth. It's nothing to do with how stupid they are. They're just arrogant people. I've never met somebody with a fantastic life who did not completely and utterly believe in themselves. I've never seen somebody massively succeed and they didn't believe in themselves, ever. I've never seen somebody who just allows life to happen to them and become blown off course by some sadness, end up doing massively monumental and important things. I've never seen it. And if she leaves me afterwards, let's say she just likes to leave men, I don't care. Yeah. I'm still working. You're still crying. You can't possibly ever beat me. I'll continue to beat you into eternity, as will my bloodline. You will sit and pay the price for the rest of your human years. Even your ancestors above you are disappointed in you, and your offspring for the rest of your lineage will look up and say, my great-great-great-grandfather was a loser because I broke his heart, and now we've been broke ever since.
Yeah.
You don't really learn lessons unless they're learned the hard way.
Yeah.
I believe that unless a lesson has taught the hard way, you're not going to learn it. You can have so many near misses and people won't learn their lesson. Bro, you must know a guy who goes out there, nearly crashes his car, doesn't slow his ass down till he wrecks it.
Yeah.
Like, this is how people are, right? So you need that pain for the lesson to sting enough to really genuinely go inside of your mind. And it's the same with everything. It's the same with driving a car or business. Truthfully, if you want to learn a lesson about business, you're going to have to suffer at some point, right? So we always say that most people are not successful with their first companies, X, Y, Z, blah, blah, blah. I get that. The truth is there's a lot of people who make a lot of money with their first company, but they just spunk it, act an idiot, and it all blows up in their face. And that's how you get the discipline on your fourth company, that when you have 3 million in the bank, you just leave it there. You know, and don't be done with it. So you need to go through some pain. You need to experience some negative things. You need to have to a degree some trauma to really even learn any lessons. So yeah, business studies. You're right. The book, that's not going to teach you anything about business. You need to get out there on the streets. You need to make mistakes. You need to suffer. You need to have the tax man knocking at your door. You got to deal with all that stuff so that you make sure it doesn't happen again. I really think that humans are stupid enough to only learn the hard way. That's kind of how it works. People say, hey man, you need to find what you're passionate about and do that. And what they're trying to say is only do what you like because you have no motivation to do anything else. And motivation in and of itself is a scam. I don't believe in motivation. I believe in discipline. I am not motivated to do the things I'm supposed to do every day. I don't wake up full of like joy that I have to go to the gym or that I have to work or I got to deal with crap. I don't feel motivated to do them. I'm disciplined. I do them regardless of how I feel. Whether I'm in the mood to do it or I'm not in the mood to do it, it gets done. That's discipline. Discipline's a real thing. Motivation is fleeting.
Yeah.
You're never going to be permanently motivated. So when someone comes along and says, oh, do what you're passionate about, what they're saying is you'll have endless motivation and then you'll be able to try hard. If you're the kind of person who can only try hard at something he enjoys, then you're going to fail. Because most things you enjoy don't pay any money. If they paid money, you wouldn't enjoy them. It's called a job, right? Nobody likes their job. You like your hobby. I'm sure you like playing video games. Maybe 1%, 0.1% can make money from video games, right? Most people, you ain't ever going to make it.
Yeah.
Do you think the guy in China who owns a concrete plant is passionate about concrete? Do you think he's sitting there stroking it at night, naked in bed? Fuck no. It's money. Be passionate about success. If you're passionate about money, then you can be passionate about anything. I'll be passionate about any business on earth that pays me. If you pay me $1 billion to dig that hole, I'll be very passionate about that hole. I will dig that hole with passion for the cash.
Yeah, because you know the cash.
For the money.
Yeah.
That's right. So when people come along and say, oh, you need to find something you're passionate about, follow your passion. Bro, you're going to follow your passion to the fucking food bank. You're never going to make any money that way. You have to sit there and go, what is going to pay me? That's why I talk about the Matrix. People say, why do you talk about the Matrix all the time? And I say there are people who are living right now in a computer-generated reality. If you believe everything you're watching on the news, you are believing a complete false version of reality. And the idea of that reality is to keep your brain occupied enough so that you'll continue to do a shit job for shit wages and pay your taxes until you die. That's exactly that's the plot of the Matrix movie. They're abusing your body and controlling your mind so that your body will sit there and do what they need it to do until you're no longer useful anymore. And that's exactly what's happening. And another question I get is people ask me why I'm so interested in this fight against the Matrix. And I try and explain to people that I believe this fight cannot be avoided. I think you're either combating the matrix and fighting against the garbage they're telling you, or you're believing it. And if you believe it, then you end up fighting against yourself. You end up fighting against your own mind. You can't avoid the battle. If you're a full-grown man and you believe everything that's on the news, you're going to end up fucking semi-depressed, divorced, miserable, broke. Like your life's shit anyway. There's no way to escape this fight. You're either buying their crap and fighting against your mind, or you're fighting against their crap. There's no other way to do it. Firstly, you find a traditional woman because you have to make a traditional woman. You can't find a woman. You have to make a woman. You have to teach her and guide her. She has to learn from you. She has to grow from you. So you need to find a woman early enough in her career path of running around dating men before her to do anything detrimental to her psyche where she cannot absorb the lessons which you want to preach upon her. A good woman makes her man feel braver. She inspires him. She makes him want to work hard. Good women are extremely powerful forces of nature, as are good men. And I think the first thing you need to do is be the best version of yourself. And if enough people do that, then society will be fixed. But the truth is, as a man, if you have a good woman can be the best thing about your life and your greatest source of strength. And if you have a bad woman, a woman can make or break a man's life. Same job, same house, same car, same dog, same sofa, same bed. Different reality.
Yeah.
Bro, different reality. And even worse, you'll notice this the most when you have a girl who flips, who was cool, and now she ain't. And you're like, everything was good. Now you're upset. What? Over what? And you'll see. But a woman can make or break a man's life. I think all the bad things that happen to you in your life are extremely important. I think pain is one of the most important elements of the alchemy that's required to become the most fantastic version of yourself. If you look at any superhero movie, the superhero had pain. Batman's Batman because they killed his parents. If they didn't kill his parents, he simply wouldn't be Batman. And I think a lot of men, when bad things happen to them, or heartbreak, etc., they don't understand that all that pain that's been given to you in that scenario is extremely important and valuable. Probably the worst experience as a man is to go through life and everything go right all of the time. Actually imagine that. You're born, you wake up, everything's fine, your girl ain't gonna leave, and you don't have to go gym, and no one's gonna try and fight you, and your bills are always paid. That sounds depressing to me. Genuinely, all these bad things are supposed to happen to you so you can level up. You're supposed to go through the pain so you can get better. It's a universal law it's a constant of the universe. Even if you want to build bigger muscles, you have to destroy the old ones. That's how they grow bigger, right? You want to be more resilient. You want to be more observant. You want to be more capable of dealing with negative scenarios or heartbreak or bad things happening to you. Well, then you better get used to pain. Pain is the flavor of life. And the people who try and change the flavor are never going to be as competitive as the people who eat it up and go, okay, that's what it tastes like. Fine by me. Give me some more. And those are the ones who get very good at it. So if you're sitting here at home and you're sad, fantastic. I'm a little bit jealous. I'm genuinely a little bit jealous. Bad things are supposed to happen to you, but you have to use them as fuel. You can't sit there and let the bad things happen to you and feel sorry for yourself. You got to take all that pain and turn it into something good. That's your responsibility as an adult. I think that the universe or God or whoever you want to call it, I think they know what they're doing. You're going to get exactly what you deserve in this life. And if you don't have the things you want, quite often you don't actually deserve them. And if you start acting in a way where you do deserve them, you'll be surprised how quickly and easily they appear. You'll see. And a lot of you are sloppy and lazy, and you don't care to look back and realize where you've been sloppy or lazy, or realize where you've made mistakes. And then you're not understanding why your life is constant blunders and bluffs. Well, that's because you keep making mistakes. But if we look at it in a more universal and as a more meta point, I love that the world is hyper competitive. And when you're extremely successful, you do. I love the fact that women only want to date men with lots of money because I have lots of money. And I love the fact that women want to date men with good bodies who are strong because I'm strong. It's fantastic. I would actually be devastated if women changed their minds, because I like it being that competitive, because I like to win, and I have no problem with the competition. I have no problem with war. If you're going to sit and go, women shouldn't think this way, what you're actually doing, and you may not realize you're doing this, but you're speaking to the universe and saying, I can't win, so I want to change the rules of the game. Good and point. I think you should apply a completely different mindset. If women sit there and say, I want this, 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 and this, I am never offended by that, because I sit there and go, yep. Okay. All right. Text me then.
I'm winning.
So I'm winning. So I think you should look at these things as a man. How can you, as a man, take absolute self-accountability? Yep. You can blame her, you can blame women, we can blame society, all those things. That's true. But the best thing you can do is sit there and go, well, let me make sure I don't fall into any category where I can be disqualified. Yeah. And then you don't have to worry about any of these things. And the best thing about being a man, in fact, the only good thing about being a man, because being a man is much harder than being a woman. You're born with no value. You don't matter. Your life is hard. The only good thing about being a man is that it's a harder version of the game of life. It's a more difficult version of consciousness. And if you play a harder video game, you get a higher score. If you're a top tier male, it's the best possible experience. There are dudes out there who are jealous of chicks because chicks get attention because they're like, those girls get to go here, these girls get to go there. But if you were at our level getting to do it as a man, not as a chick, as a man.
It's better.
It's much better. It's always going to be better.
Yeah.
So we have the best possible chance to live the best possible life. All you have to do is be man enough to get your stuff in order. And this is something that's really true about the world. And I say this all the time. People often say it's okay to fail if you try your best. But I will argue if you try your best, you will never fail. If you're lazy,
Really good point.
If you're lazy, if you don't train, if you don't know how to fix the fridge, if you come across as incompetent, if you're sloppy, if you're slow, then she's not going to believe you when you try these things because she can say, well, what would you do anyway? I have genuinely never been, or every single girl who knows me, whenever they watch the movie, and this is, I swear to God, when they watch Taken, they message me. They say, you'd do that, wouldn't you? So, of course, top G. They believe Liam Neeson my way because I'm that guy.
Yeah.
I'm that guy in their mind. I mean, you got to be that guy. I've had my girl say to me, can I go here? And I say, no, I don't trust those people, or it's dark, or I'm not around, or I don't really want you to go there. And she'll say, I'm so glad you said no. I'll say, what do you mean? She goes, I don't know. I'm just glad you said no. I feel safer. I feel happier that you won't even let me go.
Yeah.
You can't get your girl to listen. If I tell her not to go, she's more happy I won't let her. And that's kind of where, I guess also, if we go further down the rabbit hole, you can also apply this to other things. If you say to a girl, don't go to the club, why? You're right. But the reason you're telling her reeks to a degree of insecurity. Now you're right and you can do it the right way. But if you were to say, I don't think you should be going out, bad things happen. I care about you and I want to make sure you're okay. I'll take you out. But I don't think you should be going out. And she's like, I really want to go. I really want to go. You're like, all right, cool. I'm trying to protect you here. I'm your man, and I believe it's my job to keep you safe in all realms. If you want to disobey my orders, well, then how can I be responsible for making sure you're safe? But now you're not speaking from a position of insecurity. You're speaking from a position of authority and respect and capability and competence, which is a different thing. And I don't think many men even do that. I'll say to my women, be home before dark. They could be 28 years old. And I'll be like, well, it's dark at 6. Yep, I want you home before dark. Bad things happen in the world. I want you home because I love you.